As we heard yesterday, that Bhagavad Gita is, though composed of 18 chapters, yet the 18th chapter itself contains the entire summary of Bhagavad Gita. And though in Bhagavad Gita we have learned karma, bhakti, jnana, and dhyana, in this chapter all of them have been summarized. Yet Sri Krishna spends almost half the chapter in describing the various aspects of karma, like what is tyaga, what is sannyasa, and how is it related to our karma. And he clearly says tyaga is of three kinds: satvika tyaga, rajasic tyaga, and tamasic tyaga. Similarly, he goes on to talk about the various aspects of karma, and he says that 5 factors are there which make any karma or action happen. And all these 5 factors are the reason why any action can be undertaken, good or bad. However, the one who thinks he alone is the doer without acknowledging the importance of the other factors, such a person is truly not understanding how things work. These 5 factors he goes on to describe, and then these are adhishthanam, the place or the situation; karta, the doer; karanam, the instrument that have been used; cheshta, the very endeavor, the process of doing; and daivam, certain outer factors, external factors, on which also the karma depends. How good or how well you can do that karma. So those are the factors which are there. And then he goes on to say that each of these, whichever the karmas are there, they also have another 6 aspects. 3 are the propellers of the karma, and other 3 are the constituents of the karma. And the propellers of the karma are jnanam, jnayam, and jnata, parijnata. The knowledge itself, that which is to be known, and the knower of that knowledge. Similarly, there are 3 aspects of every action: karanam, karta, and karteti. Karanam are the instruments, like the senses or whatever we are employing to do the action; karma, the action itself; and karta, the one who is doing the action. And then from there he goes on to very clearly define only 3 aspects out of these 6. And if we carefully analyze, we see that every action can be changed, or the action's results can be changed by changing these 3 things. Out of the 6 things, these three things, if they've improved, the action and the result thereof will also be improved. And then he goes on to describe about these 3 things are jnanam, that is the knowledge of the action; the karma, the action itself; and karta, the doership or the doer of the action. So if these 3 things become better, actions will become better, the results of the action also will become better, because this is all about karma yoga. And Krishna goes on to describe each of them as again 3 kinds. There is a sattvika, rajasika, and tamasic aspect to all of these 3 things. And as we saw towards the end, what is the good jnanam, the knowledge or the understanding of any action? The one who sees oneness in multiplicity, such a person truly sees, such a person has sattvic jnana. He only tries to see the unity. Rajasic person sees things differently from each other, cannot see the oneness or unity. His mind is divided. And tamasic person is very narrow-minded. He holds on to some thought of his without any logic or reason, and come what may, does not change his opinion, does not even try to learn and understand if there are better things. So such a person cannot even be advised. He sticks on to his no logic and narrow-minded opinion about things. So such a knowledge is of no use. Then he goes on to say, even in the karma, we have different types of karma, those which are prescribed duties which have to be done as they are to be done, without any sense of doing a favor or doing any extra for anybody. It is just a part of my duty, my job. So without any desires for results, who do that, that is a sattvic karma. And those which are done with some desires, they're driven by ego or some kind of desire, and which feels like a burden. When you do it, you feel you are burdened by doing it. Those kind of karmas are rajasic karmas. And finally, those are tamasic karmas which lead us to bondage. And we do not think what will be the outcome, and we end up doing those things, which leads to destruction, violence, and even done out of impulse or overconfidence, because of which delusion takes over, and such a person performs this action under that delusion. So those actions are all tamasic actions. And he goes on to say the karta also, the doer also can be categorized as of three kinds. The first one is free from all attachments and no ego, anahamvadi. And he has yet, though he does not think he is the doer, he is detached from the action and the results, yet he is not losing the enthusiasm or the determination to perform the action. He still does it because that is how sattvic people do their actions. And siddha siddhayo nirvikaraha, whether there is a positive result or favorable result or not so favorable or positive result, he is not dependent on that to motivate him or her. The very thought of doing the action for the sake of action without attachments is the way sattvic person does the action. The rajasic person always is keeping an eye on the results, and if they are not favorable, he gets into anxiety and sorrow, and if they are good, he becomes happy and excited. So keep swinging between the two, and such a person also does it without thinking what will happen to others. He is violent and ashuchi, he is not clean in his dealings, in his thoughts, and is always attached to the results and quite greedy. For his greed, he is ready to destroy or hurt or harm others also for the sake of fulfilling his desires. And such a person is covered with, by harsha, that is excitement, and shoka, which is sorrow based on the type of results that he gets out of it. And tamasi person is how he is unsteady and incapable actually of doing any good work. Ayuktaha, uncultured, prakritaha, stabdaha, he is obstinate, very stubborn. Shataha, he is very deceitful, means he can cheat. Naishkritaha, he insults or he does not do things as to be done, and if anybody advises, he will insult him also. Alasaha, lazy and inertia. Then Vishadi, finds fault, he is always in a depressed mood. Whatever, nobody can encourage him and make him think positively. And Dirgha Sutri keeps postponing actions, does not want to do it then and there, but wants to keep it for another day. And such a person is a tamasic karta. So these are the three things, jnana and karma and karta. These are very important when we want to do actions properly in this world. The knowledge, why we want to do this action, what is our vision, what is our understanding of the action, why are we doing? We are doing it for the sake of doing our duty without attachment to the results or without having ego of doership. And the very karma itself should be done in such a way that we do not get attached to the results or we do not think we are going to benefit, therefore we should do. And if we are not the doers or we are not looking at the results, we should not lose enthusiasm. You don't get credit for it or you're not going to get credit for it, so you stop doing it. That's not the way. We must do it nevertheless. Whoever sees or not, God is watching us. And for that sake, we must do it. Similarly, our karta also should be the one who should not harm anybody in the process, should do it out of purity, should do it without any attachment, and should think of the consequences before doing it, not after doing it. So all these tamasic people, they go by their impulses and instincts. They don't think, they're just driven by instincts and impulses. So they do first and then think later. Whereas sattvic people think first and do later. So these people are those who think, what will be the result? Is it going to be good for everyone, good for me, good for the world? And will it be something that will please God? They will think like that and do actions. And Rajasic people, sometimes they think, sometimes they don't think. Generally, they end up thinking only while performing the action. They start off the action, then they realize, and then they're so attached to the action that even though they know it is not so good, they can't stop the action. They continue doing it because of their attachment to the action. You went wrong. Somebody tells you you're on the wrong road, but your ego does not permit you. Keep going like this, and in the process, you are troubling everybody along with you because their egos are very big. They cannot be told, change your ways. So they end up harming themselves, the institutions, everybody, the whole team, and ultimately the work also is not done properly. So these are the things which you have to be shunned. Basically, why Krishna is telling all these, we understood yesterday, to find out where the fault lies in our action. Why our action is leading us to ego, more attachment or misery. Why are we not being equanimous while performing the action? As I said always, the true test of one's way of performing the action correctly is before the action, during the action, and after the action, your state of the mind should remain the same. Getting anxious before starting the action, getting excited during the action, or getting depressed or happy based on the results of the action, that should not be the way our mind should function. Throughout the process, before the process and after the process, Our mind should always remain steady. How steady we are able to keep our mind, that is the true test of how much of karma yoga we have learned to do. Karma can be done, that swings you this way, that way. Karma yoga does not swing you. Yoga means some kind of a steadiness. How steady? If you are anchored to something, the boat is anchored, it is steady. If boat is not anchored, it will keep moving with the waves. So this anchoring is yoga. And Krishna says, the one who has no ego of doership, enjoyership, such a person, even if he does anything in the world, is not bound by it. He is always free. Always free. While that's why such a person alone can perform the actions without any excitement, anxiety, attachment, desires. He is always steady. Before, during, and after the action, our mind is the same, peaceful and happy and steady. So this is how action should be performed. If you are not experiencing these things, then you have to find where the fault lies. Is it too much of doership, or your understanding of action itself is not right, or the jnanam, that is the knowledge of the action, the karma, the action itself, the process you are following, and the idea of I am the doer, because of me things are happening. Which are the things that you need to improve in order to make your actions better and remain in the same state of equanimity all through. That is how you must do it. Self-analysis must be done for your own sake, for your own benefit. Where is the question of you trying to improve somebody? You improve, the world improves. That is the idea. Then Krishna goes on to say, this is not enough. This is not enough. There are two things more which you need to know. One is buddhi and another is dhriti. Buddhi, we know, is intelligence, the discriminating thought, the ability to take decisions based on complete understanding of the situation, the reason and things like that. So that buddhi has to be there. Again, buddhi can be of three kinds, he says. And second is dhriti. Dhriti means the determination to do. People are very determined to do certain things, but what is the motivation for them to be determined? Why don't they give up? Ravana did not give up stealing Mother Sita, and even though his whole clan got destroyed, he is also having a lot of dhriti, no? But his buddhi is waste. So that is how we have to think. Both buddhi and dhriti are also required to do the action. Pay attention, because Krishna is leading us towards something. These are all, he's building a case for us, because ultimate reason why we perform action is purity of heart. That purity makes us realize divinity, steadies our mind. In that steady mind, divinity is revealed. So Krishna is only teaching us how to keep our mind steady and pure while we perform all the actions, so that we are able to realize our true self. And that is the ultimate purpose of all texts. But Bhagavad Gita, as I said, is a manual which tells us how to navigate our journey through life, so that at the end we reach the destination correctly, with least damage to anybody around us and no harm to ourselves too. 29th shloka, Shri Krishna says, Buddher bhedam dhriteshchaiva gunata strividham shunu. Three kinds are buddhi and dhriti. Buddhi is just, we generally say intellect, but it is the ability to discriminate and decide. And dhriti, the determination to do something. Many people are very good people. Buddhi is good. They have no willpower, no effort they put to convert their good ideas into actions. Such ideas are a waste. Nobility without ability, as I say. All knowledge without action is useless. All action without knowledge is dangerous. So these two are the combination. That's why it's so very clearly Krishna is saying that you must have good buddhi. And he says, Prochyamanam asheshena prataktvena dhananjaya. I will explain to you both separately, buddhi and dhriti. Now, completely, asheshena, with complete detail I am going to explain. Again, in few shlokas, he explains the difference between the two. We will quickly go through it. Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha karya karye bhaya bhaye bandham moksham cha yaveti buddhi sa partha satviki. Again, satvika buddhi, pure and serene, sublime, divine buddhi. Which is the buddhi? Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha. What you must get involved in and what you must withdraw from. It understands it very correctly. It doesn't get influenced by other aspects. Oh, you will get more money, but you have to do something wrong. It's very clear. This is not the thing to be done, because this is not good. This is not to be involved into. This is not to be participated in. So, pravritti and nivritti marga, that is what is preya and shreya marga. Remember, we have read in Kathopanishad. That which is pleasant is pravritti marga. That which is good is nivritti marga. So also pravritti means to engage, nivritti means to withdraw. So this person is very clear in his buddhi, what is right, what is wrong, what should be done, what should not. So he says pravrittim cha nivrittim cha karya akarye, what is permitted as an action by our scriptures, by the authorities, by the elders, by the societal or community rules and norms, that he is very clear about. This is to be done, this is not to be done. Karya, akarya. These are the two things. In the hostel, we have certain rules. You are supposed to do this, you are not supposed to do the other things too. And the one who knows that this is how it should be, I should not kind of do the wrong things. Such a person's buddhi is very clear. And bhaya abhaye. Naturally, if you do good things, there is no question of bhaya. Why here, when you don't make any mistake, there is no fear. Where there is mistake only, there is fear. So such a person also understand if you make a mistake, then you have to be afraid. If you don't make a mistake, there is no need of fear. So what actions will lead to fear, bhaya, and what will lead to abhaya, fearlessness? He knows the difference between the two very clearly. His buddhi knows. Bandham moksham chayaveti. Bandha, what will lead you to bondage? Bondage is more desires, more attachment. You fulfill one desire, one more will arise. That will bind you with more actions, more reactions. Bandham, moksham. What will help us withdraw and become free from this world and the attachments? Yaveti, that one which knows this, sa buddhi partha satviki. That buddhi is satvika buddhi partha. What are the things? Pravrittim, nivrittim means what you should engage in, what you should withdraw from. Karya, akarye, what is to be done, what should not be done. Bhaya, abhaye, what leads to fear, what does not lead to fear, in the sense what makes you fearless. Bandham moksham, what takes us to bondage, what helps us with liberation. These are the things this buddhi is clearly able to discriminate. It has no confusion over there. So all our education should help us develop this kind of buddhi. Buddhiman syat kritkitascha bharata, he says. Become buddhiman, develop such intellect, such intelligence, which will help you to discriminate correctly and decide correctly. So that your actions that follow after your decision are good actions. Will lead you to moksha, will lead you to liberation. And if our education system does not help us inculcate this pure buddhi, sattvika buddhi, education is a big waste. You think for yourself where all our decisions happen in buddhi only. Mind is attracted by various ideas and desires. But it consults buddhi. Buddhi, tell me whether you should do this or not. Buddhi will say, last time you did, those fingerprints of warden are still there on your cheek. Should you do it again once more? Let us not. But the idea is that buddhi remembers and buddhi consults one more aspect, chitta. Chitta is all our stored memory. So that memory suddenly flashes in front of your eyes. You know, that whole motion and how it landed and what was the silent, that what you call that echo in your ears. All that you remember suddenly. Then immediately buddhi says, this is what happened last time. Manas say, okay, let us not try this again. So this is how these things work. Physical action, karma happens by the karta. How the mana behind decides to do or not. But to mana, the guidance is given by buddhi, and buddhi depends on chitta, the memory. To understand if I have any reference of what happens after I perform this action. Oh, it makes me miserable. Last time something like this, it was miserable. Something like that made me happy. So accordingly it will discuss. So that is why buddhi is the very key. It's like algorithm, no, yes, no, it goes right. Buddhi is that. Yes, take this path. No, take another path. And then again it asks next question. Yes, no. Again the algorithm continues. So this process is of buddhi. Somebody's algorithm is corrupt and gone astray. All decision makings will be wrong. So this kind of buddhi you have to develop after all this education. If you can't choose between pravritti, nivritti, karya, bhaya, abhaya and bandha moksham, education is a sheer waste. The second type of people naturally are rajasic. So what Krishna says, yaya dharmam adharmam cha karyam cha akaryam eva cha ayathavat prajanati buddhi sa partha rajasi. See, dharma, adharma existing, karya, akarya also we know now. But what this fellow's problem is, Rajasi fellow, he understood it in a different way. He understands things differently than what he should understand. You know, sometimes somebody may say something to you and you should understand it correctly, but you understand it wrongly. In the sense you have your own opinion or your clouded buddhi is there, you have your own impression. Sometimes, we would have fought with somebody or we would have had an argument. Next time, even if the person is trying to give you good advice, your clouded mind, which it says that no, last time he was scolding me, how can he be a friend to me? So we are not ready to take advice from such people. We are not ready to be friends again. Many times, many things we understand in a different way. So ayathavat means it is not understood in the same way as it was intended. It is said between what is spoken and not heard, and what is heard and not spoken, much of confusion happens. Because you have spoken something, but the other person has heard something else. He understood as something else. And then the whole confusion happens. So this is the idea. One side there was a lorry that had to pass through the signal, and a phone came to the policeman there that this lorry has some kind of illegal material. So he sent a message, stop, not let go. And this understood, stop, not let go. The whole thing is reversed because it's understood wrongly. Now what is the action resulting out of misunderstanding or wrong understanding? Wrong action. Right understanding only will lead to right action, right? Wrong understanding will lead to wrong action. So understanding things as they are. Scriptures say, many people say, you are not the doer. You are not the doer is correct. But have you understood, experienced that? No. But simply you do something wrong and say, I am not the doer. Then what has to happen? Then we have to punish you and say, you are not the enjoyer also. So just accept this punishment as well. See, many people misuse these concepts also without having truly realized it. So that ayathavat, they understood it wrongly. Understand it wrongly, and then they perform wrong actions out of it. They cannot understand correctly. Then the third one is, you will think, this itself is quite a confusion. Third one is even worse. Third one is this person, adharmam dharmamiti. He understands dharma as adharma and adharma as dharma. This fellow does not understand which is dharma, which is adharma, slightly confused about it. But the other one is very clear. He always thinks it's the opposite. Don't go to that corner of the hostel. Teacher is saying, he'll exactly go to that corner of the hostel. Why? Because he always wants to do just the opposite. So dharma and adharma are things which he understands totally differently, in fact opposite. And because of his understanding is very clouded, his ignorance is so high. He's never put efforts to learn anything in life, so ulta. And sarvarthan viparintanscha, he understands everything in the opposite way only. Now if somebody even comes and plays, very good boy, he says, no, this fellow is being sarcastic only, I'm not a good boy. He has his own understanding of himself. Or anybody tries to say anything positive, he'll only take negative out of it. He will never take it positively. Many people are like that. They keep finding how can it be, some agenda is there, something is wrong, something is negative behind whatever is being said to me. They always find fault. So these are the people who are so clouded. Tamasi buddhi these people have. So the question is that which is out of the three buddhis, only sattvic buddhi is capable of taking right decisions and understand the things as they are. Rajasic buddhi is understanding things in a vague way. It's not clear. See, when you are not clear, you better, I always say, when you are in doubt, stay out. Don't do anything. Till your doubt is cleared and you have clarity. Don't start off. But Rajasic people are compelled by so much of desires. Without fully understanding the process or the reason, they jump into action. And then suffer halfway through because they don't have correct understanding of things. And Tamasi buddhi, they'll just do the opposite thing. Whatever you tell, they'll understand it totally opposite and do something altogether ulta. So these are the people who are thinking. And worst part about the tamasic people are that they will have justification for whatever they do. Their buddhi has some crooked way of arguing and convincing the opposite party that why they are right and they are not wrong. Remember, tamasic people are like that. They will never agree they are wrong. So this fellow will do it wrong and then he will explain and try to convince the other person that this is what is right. And sometimes one reason they use is a majority of the people do this, so what is wrong in me doing it? These are very common excuse people use. They are all tamasic people only. Everybody does it. What's wrong if I do it? Hey, everybody does wrong. It doesn't mean that wrong will become right. Even one person does it right, it is right. So what if 99 do it wrong? But many people do that in the whole class. I tell you, in our many times public examination, a lot of this copying happens. See, help people, I say, but not inside the examination hall. Before examination hall, you can help. But tamasic fellow will what say? He wins the examination, he'll nudge the next fellow and say, hey, help ever. So now help me. If you don't help me, then he will start giving justifications. You can't be my friend. How can you be a good fellow if you see somebody else in misery and pain like this? What will happen to my future? This, that. They'll give all kinds of excuse. And then they will make that other fellow also tamasi and make him do this thing. Then you have understood the very idea of helping in the opposite way. It was not supposed to be this way. So these are the people who simply, take it in the reverse way, or worse, sometimes they misunderstand and do another thing. Instead of one, they do another thing. And these are the people who are not capable of understanding anything. Once a wife was driving, on the road, and husband called up and said, "The road on which you're driving, there is an announcement. I heard that one car is going in the opposite direction, on the road, against the rules of the road." She told her husband on the phone, "Not one car, so many cars are going in the opposite direction, in the wrong directions." So how they have understood their buddhi? I am wrong, that she is not recognizing. She is thinking the whole world is wrong, I am only right. So this is tamasi buddhi. So you cannot explain anything to them, they are like that. So what else happens? These are the buddhis. Now there are three kinds of dhriti, determination, willpower. No, I want to do it. Everybody does it. Even the richest person works so hard, 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours a day. But what is the motivation? Where is the willpower coming from? Even a cruel person, there are serial killers, there are criminals, there are smugglers, so skilled, so particular that they should finish the task. And there are sattvic people also, they take up projects which are social welfare. They are also working very hard to make it happen. What is the motivation behind their determination? Vrityaya dharayate mana pranendriya kriyaha yoge navyabhicharinya dhriti sa partha satviki. That dhriti, that power to, that willpower or the determination power, which holds the mind, the pranendriya, they all prana shakti, and the indriyas which are along with it, in all of their actions it holds. It holds means does not allow them to get distracted and sway away from the correct way of things. Does not allow the mind to get distracted, senses to get indulged, or the prana means the life force energy to be used wrongly. It holds it, keeps them in good control and steadiness. Such a buddhi. And yoge now avyabhicharinya keeps these mana, indriya, buddhi, all the organs inside, outside, karma, jnanendriyas, in a state of yoga. Yoga means absolute steadiness connected with the divine thought. It keeps them steady like this. That buddhi is that determination one who has. Our mind keeps running every time outside. Paranchikhani vatina swayabhu. Tasmat paran pashyati na antaratman. They say all the senses are made like that. By whom? By Lord Himself. The Prakriti is like that. They run outside. Then kachit dhira pratyagatmanam ekshat. Avritta chakshu amritatvam icchan. One somebody with discrimination and this kind of dhriti, determination, draws all those senses inwards, turns his gaze within, and holds them steady. It keeps running every time, then whole life will go in just pulling and pushing. He can withdraw it and hold it steady so that it doesn't run back again out. So that capability, that kind of determination is a sattvic determination. He uses his senses, mind, indriyas, prana shakti, all his talents, skills, everything for a pure purpose and never deviates from that pure purpose. Always holds on to that pure purpose, even if others say whatever they say. So this is holding it steadfast. Like Nandi, I always say, Nandi in the Shiva temple. So many people come and go, but Nandi does not go around looking who is coming, who is going, what prasadam, who is bringing, who is wearing what clothes. Nandi's vision is steady, always looking at Shiva. Let 100 people come and go, it will see through them and it will see Shiva only. So everybody has their own way or reason, motivations for that. So this is the kind of thing. Unfortunately, our students and people, our attention spans are coming down. Why it's coming down? Because our sattvic buddhi, dhriti, is coming down. So after 15-20 minutes, you can't hold their attention. They get distracted very quickly. Because throughout the COVID, they've been watching TV, playing games. They have become habituated to quick movement from one thing to another. Their mind thrives on only changing its focus from one thing to another. Such people cannot stay steady. Even if you make them sit in a place, they'll be restless because they have been used to that kind of buddhi. Now they have cultivated wrong buddhi, that too at an early age, wrong dhriti at early age. What can you do about him? So they do not have the focus of mind. The focused mind, focused thoughts, focused indriyas, with proper attention to the right things is the sattvika dhriti. This you can understand how important it is to do good things. Then, yayatu dharma karmarthan dhritya dharayate arjuna prasangena phalakankshi dhriti sa partha rajasi. Rajasi dhriti is what? Determination. Dharma artha, we have dharma, artha, kama. We know all these three things are four things. Fourth is moksha. But four reasons are there for which we must perform actions in this world. These are four duties, cardinal duties for everyone. Dharma, artha, kama and moksha. Purusharthas they are called. Dharma means doing what your duties. You're a teacher, you're a lawyer, you're a whatever. In a very simple parallel, dharma means that. And artha means to that you do that to earn some things like name, fame, money, salary, to sustain yourself. And kama means once you get that money, name, position, whatever, you can fulfill some desires. So Rajasi Buddhi, people are very focused also. They are not those who do not have focus, but their focus is driven by what can I get out of it. So if I do this, I'll get money. After money, I'll fulfill a desire. With that desire, I will get one more. So they are motivated to work hard in a determined way. They don't give up easily because they have desires which they want to fulfill. The first ones are not those. Their attention is pure. They keep their indriya, mana, everything in a yoga sthiti, always meditating on the self. And then they perform whatever actions are to be performed. These people have no such ideas. They are here only to fulfill their desires. But they also work very hard. See those businessmen, many people for their name, fame sake, how much hard they work. Prasangena, they are very attached to whatever the action and the result is. That's why they do it. Phalakankshi, they are desirous of the results. If the results come, they will work hard. Suppose you tell them, if you work another 2 hours, we will double your income for the day. Overtime we will pay. Look at that. How hard they work. In fact, after they do a trick, they don't work at all throughout the day so that the company will give them overtime during which they can earn twice the amount. This kind of buddhi they have. But they work hard. I'm not saying they're lazy. They work hard. They're very determined, focused, but for a wrong reason. But anyway, in the world like this, we need people with attention and with determination. Otherwise, nothing will get done. All work will come to a halt. No, but nothing will be achieved in the world if they don't have dhriti. So these people are those who cannot meditate, but they work very hard. Many of them are there in our ashram also. Call them for a satsang and some meditation session, they disappear. But give them some service activity, 24/7, throughout the week they can work without rest and sleep. They're so action oriented and they're doing good action only. But call them to study themselves, sit down, meditate, all that is not possible for them. So this is the problem. So if you don't have this kind of attention on the self or meditative thoughts, you know where your buddhi is. It's Rajasi buddhi only. These are the people who are very headstrong and very difficult to get them to change their ways also. Because they're determined to do that, tell them it's not good, they're not going to listen to you. They'll continue doing what they're doing. Yaya swapnam bhayam shokam vishadam madamevacha navimunchati durmedha dhriti sa partha tamasi. Naturally tamasi has to come. What is tamasi? These people yaya swapnam. This dhriti is in some imaginative world, as if in a dream world. They imagine things and they hold on to their imaginations. No, if I go out, this will happen to me. No, if we do this, something will happen. They have their own imaginations. And they live in their own imaginary world. They can even imagine they are the best people, they are the powerful people, they are the nicest people. They have their own imagination. And they hold on to that steadfast, they hold on to their own false imagination without base or without any proper logic. But they hold on. Swapnam, bhayam. They also have different kinds of fears. They hold on to those fears also. Something went wrong last time. They are so afraid next time they are not going to take it up at all. No, it will go this time also, it will go wrong. In fact, if any other person is trying to do that, you also don't do it. It will go wrong. They are so scared, always live in fear. Bhayam, bratuku bhayam, those people. Shokam, always sad, morose. To say whatever, nothing will happen, this is how it is, things are like this, no need to. So they will never give up this kind of a negative way of thinking. Vishadam, always, as I said, in state of delusion and sadness. And for others also, they will spread that negativity to everybody around them also. Stay away from such people. Madam also, the other aspect is they were very arrogant also. They hold on to their ideas, their ways, and they will not change that. So they also have determination. But determination of a very wrong type. But these are dangerous people. Because if they're determined to do something, they'll end up doing a lot of damage to the world because they're driven by tamasic ideas. So this is very, very dangerous, like Rakshasas and Daityas and all those people. So because of this, navimunchati durmedha, they are not able to get rid of this despite whatever you tell them. Why? Because durmedha, their medha shakti, their understanding power is very poor, in fact negative. So whatever you say, they will see it through the lens of negativity only. Whatever glasses you wear, that's how the world looks like to you. Wear green glasses, everything is green. So they wear these kind of tamasi glasses, look at everyone, they don't trust anybody, they can't have faith in anything, everything they suspect. And they hold on to their convictions like this without changing them. So these are the people who are tamasi people, and very difficult to again change them too. Now, if you do these three things, now you will think, okay, so the course is complete, buddhi over, dhriti over, and you can discriminate and decide where your buddhi, dhriti is lying. But Krishna says, see, all actions, why do we do in this world? Sukha prapti, dukkha nivrutti. We want to attain joy and we want to avoid sorrow. That is all the whole life is about. Running toward joyful things and avoiding sorrowful things. So he says, when you do all these actions with the right dhruti, right buddhi, or whichever, wrong buddhi, wrong dhruti, what is the result? Result is an experience out of it. That experience is what we call as sukha. Sukha is what we want to experience. The happiness or pleasure is what we want to experience out of everything. So these people want to, all want to experience sukha, pleasure only. Nobody wants to do things which is going to be painful for them. So he says, based on all these things, three types of sukha also you experience. Satvik sukha, rajasic sukha, and tamasic sukha. But natural, right? There is no rocket science behind it. It is the way it is. So he says, Sukham tvidanim trividim shrunume bharatarshabha abhyasad dramate yatra sukhantam chanigachati. There are three kinds of sukhas. Listen to me, O best of the Bharata, the sons of Bharata. And what are these? The first one is abhyasat ramate. When you practice that, you have become joyful, ramate. We are happy, we revel in it, that joy. Yatra dukhantam nagachati. So he says it becomes dukhantam. Dukhantam means end of all sorrows, once for all. Generally we are joyful today, again it changes into pain tomorrow. Pain is whatever, pleasure is an interval between two pains in the worldly parents. Even Krishna has said, Anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajaspamam. This world is temporary and so full of sorrow. So therefore remember me, worship me, follow me. Krishna had given an advice earlier. Here he says that those who practice this kind of sukha, they are always reveling, they're in joyful state. And such a joy which never changes into sorrow. Dukkhantam is the end of all sorrows. Cha nigachati. These people gain it, they attain it. This kind of endless joy. That is theirs. Whose is that? Continues that. Yattad dagre vishamiva pariname amrutopamam. Their joys are how? In the beginning it feels like a pain. But eventually it is very joyful. Agre vishamiva. In the beginning it feels like poison. But pariname, at the end, the result is amruta. Amrutam means nectar, pure, sublime, serene, divine feelings. Example you know very well. Study every day, use your study hours well, so that you can write your exams well and you don't have to worry at the end. But those who do not, studying every day feels like a pain. But at the end, the joy is, you don't feel burdened before exam and you are able to do well, the joy is yours. Somebody else who does not want to study now, keeps playing and simply lazing, he seems to be happy today. He's enjoying life, that's what we would think. But at the end, when exams arrive, he would be the most miserable person. So this is the idea. The sukha, satvik sukha is, initially it seems like a pain. Like you have to study, you have to work hard, you have to do many things in order to gain something in life. But once you do that hard work, eventually you enjoy your life better. So this is the idea, that this kind of joy should be the joy of those people who are satvik. Initially, even if it's difficult and painful, they know that eventually this is what is going to give joy. Tat sukham satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam, which gives joy to yourself. Your understanding and joy, self-joy, within yourself the fountain of joy starts flowing. That joy is sattvika joy. And what is the quality of this joy? This joy never turns into sorrow again. It always is a joy. Even if you have done something good and you have experienced the joy, next time even if you remember that, you will still feel the joy within. You feel the taste of the joy within. Like we feel the taste of the sorrow within, of some miserable thing that we have done. And even today, we remember, you feel very sorrowful or you shudder. But good things remain good. They remain in your mind. You feel happy. It need not be like this joy, as I said, is of a different quality. And what is the quality? Initially, it seems like a difficult thing. Eventually, it is happy. Many youngsters, they take two very wrong paths in the beginning, because there's the age where you are reckless. Eventually, you end up with a lot of misery and sorrow. And some tamasic buddhi people are saying very good, at least they know about all these things in the very early age. They are looking positive in that. So I do not know how that is tamasi buddhi actually. Ayathavat or viparitanscha. Opposite it understands, whatever it is. But the idea is that they feel these joys are very nice now, but eventually it all leads to sorrow, lot of issues. Second thing is naturally Rajasi buddhi. What is that? Vishayendriya sanyogat yat tadagre amrutotpamam. Because of the engagement with the senses and the deriving of sense pleasures, in the beginning, it feels like amrita. Wow, so nice, so happy I feel about it. Because all senses have been pleased. Eventually what happens? Pariname vishamiva. Tat sukham rajasamsmritam. Eventually, at the end, it leads to misery. Again, we know a lot of these things. When we get distracted and we get indulged and then we do things and afterwards we suffer. So this is the idea. And you think that no, a lot of people do wrong things, they never seem to suffer at all. Many people ask this question to me. So many people are doing wrong things. They are having a good life. They are rich now, though they are corrupt. They are illegal. They are having big bungalows and comfortable life. Look at us. We are doing all good, but nothing seems to be, that Amruta part is not happening at all. Only Visha is happening for us. I tell them, this is not the only life that you are leading. This is not the end of everything, right? It will pass on to the next birth and the next birth, and you do not know what misery you are going to face again. When some of those, tamasi buddhi, who knows whether next birth is there. This birth we are miserable, first we should settle our scores here only. Then such people, mudhas, they are called by Yama. So we cannot help them. Idea is that it doesn't matter what you are experiencing. Idea is that, are you doing good for the goodness sake? Yes, then everything is good for you. Many people ask me this question, those rich people. I told you are only seeing their happiness from the outside. Do you know what is going on inside them? Do you know whether they are really happy? Are they getting even a peaceful, restful sleep every day? Are they at peace with themselves, in their family? Is there peace? Are they happy within themselves? Are they enjoying their meals? Are they even enjoying their life? Truly within? No, many of them not. Outside they are very rich, very opulent, and they have made money by all wrong means. They seem to be very comfortable, but deep within they are all miserable. So many rich people we have seen, so many divorces, so many families have broken, and so many other issues have come out from the richest people in the world. Why? If richness was supposed to give happiness, they should have been the happiest people on earth. Why are they not happy? Why their families are broken? Why they're all confused and distracted now? It's because this is not the true joy. Initially it looked like joy. Now it has turned into poison. It's a sweet poison. Tastes sweet, but at the end it kills you. Then Yadagre chanu bandhecha sukham mohanamatmanaha nidralasya pramadottam tattarvasam udahritam. That which in the beginning itself, from the beginning itself, at least in Rajasi beginning it feels good. Here in the beginning itself it binds you. There is no question of afterwards. From the very beginning it binds you and it gives you think you are enjoying, but this is a delusion. Mohanatmana, because of the delusion, you think you are enjoying this, what you are doing. Example here, nidra, sleep. You think you are sleeping and you are enjoying your life. But truth is that your productive time is getting wasted. And what you are supposed to do, your duties you are not discharging. You are not doing the right things. And how are you going to gain any respect or love or affection or happiness or peace in life? So nidra, alasya, laziness, keep postponing, don't do things, don't work hard. From the beginning it binds you. And pramadottham, pramada means some kind of illusion or delusion. You are always deluded. And tamasuttam, udahritam, this is what is tamasa. People are addicted to substance abuses they do. Meditation may be painful in the beginning, but it gives you permanent joy. These medications are very joyful in the beginning, but they give you permanent damage. In fact, addictions and abuses lead to the damage from the moment you start it. Not even like it gives you any joy truly. Forgetting your sorrows by dulling your mind is not the way to experience joy. That is not joy at all actually. Then other tamasic kinds of joys are there. All kinds of sense pleasures are there. Illegal, all these things they do just for the sake of joy. But it dulls your mind and it makes you a worser person than what you are. It is said, Alasyami Manushyanam Sharirasto Maharipuhu. It is the greatest enemy. Your laziness is the greatest enemy. And also it says, Nasti Udyam Samo Bandhuhu Kritvayam Na Avasidati. Udyama means hard work. There is no friend like hard work, doing which you never come to sorrow. You never come to misery. Hard work always gives you joy. Work hard and see. While working hard, it may be difficult. At the end, it gives you joy. It is that way. The hard work is very joyful thing. You must experience the joy of hard work. That is, then you can replace lower joys with higher joys. So you see, difficult because we have some tamasi, some rajasi, some sattvic feelings. But try to reduce the tamasic way of enjoying life by replacing with at least rajasic thoughts. From rajasic, replace it with sattvic thoughts. So improve the quality of your joy in your life. Don't indulge too much in tamasic joys. Try to replace them with a little rajasic joy. It means laziness, some kind of a sleeping all the time gives you some kind of a pleasure. That's not good for you, but work hard sometimes. That hard work also gives you joy. When you accomplish something, achieve something, there is a great sense of joy. That joy at least you experience. Even if it's for a selfish reason, that joy is better than being lazy. And greater than that joy is you do things for selfless sake. That joy is supreme. It gives you peace and joy which is different. Its quality is different. You have to taste it to know it. Like the joy that you get out of serving in these institutions, that is sattvic joy. It gives you tremendous amount of satisfaction. It remains with you. Even if though we work so hard, we don't feel it is a visham or a pain. From the beginning, it feels good only to us. Somebody who sees from outside, they'll think, why are you working so hard? What are you going to gain out of it? Because their buddhi is like that, Rajasi. So these are the things which are very important for us to discriminate the kind of joy that we are experiencing and how we must continuously try to replace it with higher joys in life. Suddenly you can't jump into the Ananda aspect, Sometimes it may happen, but most of the time our body, mind, Deha Brita, last time we told, Deha Bhimana is there. It will drag us down. That's why in the beginning Ashtavakra starts with these shlokas. Janaka asks, Katham Vyanam Vapnoti, then Katham Muktir Bhavishyasi, Vairagyam cha Katham Praptam, Etad Bruhi Mama Prabho. Tell me about how to attain Vairagya and all these things. And straight away our Ashtavakra starts, says Muktim Ichhasi Chetad, Vishayan Vishavatyaja. All these sense pleasures give up like poison. Because they are poison. They may be sweet in the beginning, but they are poison at the end. Shama Arjavadaya Tosha Satyam Pivushavat Bhaja. Shama, forgiveness or forbearance, Daya, compassion, Arjava, straightforwardness, honesty, integrity, Tosha, contentment, Satyam, truth. Piyushavat Bhaja, think of them as nectar and take it or accept it. And reject what? All the sense pleasures. So this is how our scriptures encourage us to improve ourselves. Na tadasti prathivyam va divi deveshu va punaha sattvam prakritir jaihi muktam yadebhi syat tribhi guraihi. It says there is nobody in the world, whether in the earth or in the higher worlds, lokas, or in amongst the devatas, it means all beings that are existing, those who are not bound by this prakriti jaihi. All these things which are, they are born with this certain prakriti, tamasic prakriti, rajasic prakriti, sattvic prakriti. Accordingly, they experience the sukha of different kinds, they perform actions of different kinds. This is how it is. Yadebihi, whatever it is, syat tribhir gunaihi, all that which exists, it's all governed by these three gunas only, even in matter for that matter. There is tamasic guna, no? It is very, inertia is there. Inertia is the quality of matter. Unless acted upon by an external force, it doesn't move. That is the Newton's law. So this inertia is the quality of matter. It is also having a guna. Similarly, devatas are there. They have more compassion and kindness. They have one quality. Sattvic gunas are more. Sometimes they also fight. So it means there is some rajas. Sometimes they also indulge. It means there is some tamas. But the proportion of it is different in each of these beings. Even in us, all of us, we need some tamasic gunas, some tamasic sukha like nidra. If you don't sleep, then you will be restless next morning. Your health will get spoiled. But how much sleep? That is the question you must ask. Yukta ahara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta sapna avabodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkhadha. Yoga, if you perform yoga, it means control and restrain yourself from doing things in excess. Everything in moderation will give you joy, it says. So moderation is the right way in everything. And there is one story, but I don't know whether I have time, but quickly I'll tell. In Upanishad, there is a story comes, I think Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, that these three are there, no demons, demons are there, the devatas are there, and manavas are there. All three reach Prajapati to ask for some instructions, and Prajapati Brahma tells them, Da, that's all. Da, only one word. And each of them understands differently. You know, buddhis are different, so they understand the same thing differently. Devatas understand Da means, they said Daya, Da means Dama. Dama means self-restraint, because devatas are very powerful. They can simply throw a trishul and destroy the world like that. So devatas have to control themselves, not use their powers wrongly or instinctively. So they use the word Da as Dama, means restraint. Whereas the Rakshasas are there, they understand Da as Daya, because Rakshasas are very cruel by nature. They harm everybody. So Prajapati told practice Da, means they understand we have been told to practice Daya. And for Manavas, the humans, the word Da is understood as Dana. Because humans are greedy by nature. So they have to do charity. Yajna, Dana, Tapakriyaha, Natyajet. Krishna says, don't give up these things. In that Dana, charity you should not give up, because human beings are born greedy. Devatas are born powerful. So they have to restrain themselves. And Rakshasa, Pravrutti, Rakshasi, Asuri, Sampada, those who have, they are born cruel. So they have to practice compassion. So this is how we are all born with certain qualities within, and we must know how to use them correctly, because the end goal is to attain moksha. Whichever way we are born, what is the point in crying now? Why I was born like this, that is the reason why I am not able to attain moksha. No. Bhagavad Gita says, now you know where the fault lies, now start improving yourself. Someday you will reach your destination. So that is the idea. Then very important topic comes from here. Many people are there in our society of different types. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Visham, Shudranam cha Parantapa, Karmani Pravibhaktani, Swabhava Prabhavair Gunaihi. He says we have 4 kinds of people, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Earlier also Krishna says, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam. I have created them. Guna Karma Vibhagashaha, based on their gunas. Now you cannot have a confusion that why this classification has happened in our country. Recent times, in modern times, it has been given a name called caste. But earlier we used to only call it as a classification. Varna, Ashrama. So all are ashrama dharmas only. Varnashrama dharma we used to call. Varna means different types, different classes. It doesn't mean superior or inferior or powerful or weaker or better or lesser. That was not the idea of classification. Classification was done based on their gunas. Krishna said very clearly. So this is what even Krishna is summarizing again, that Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, these are all given different kinds of duties to perform in the world based on their swabhava. Swabhava means what is their nature, and that nature is coming from their gunas that they carry with them. What are this? Prabhavaihi gunaihi, which are born out of the gunas. My nature is very lazy, let us say. Somebody says I am lazy by nature, unless until pushed. I have to really push myself to do things. By nature I am. So you have tamasic guna. So your general attitude is you won't be creative, you won't be productive, you won't be taking initiatives, you won't work too hard, or you won't pursue knowledge or find things. You are generally settled and happy with what you are a Shudra in that way. Your mentality is of a Shudra. Body need not be Shudra. Krishna never said that I am dividing or classifying people based on their bodies and Janma Vibhagashaha or Deha Vibhagashaha. No, or Guna Vibhagashaha, he said. Your gunas decide what kind of work you do. So even if you are born in a very high caste, whatever family, and you are lazy by nature, you are a Shudra only. Ravana was born in a Brahmana family, right? He is a Brahmin by birth. But his behavior, is it by any chance like Brahmin? Sometimes he behaved like Brahmin. But otherwise, how he behaved like Rakshasa? Shudra Buddhi. Harming others, not helping anybody. So this is not good Buddhi for him. Or he behaved like a Kshatriya, let us say, because he fought wars and killed people for the sake of his own personally. So he ran a kingdom. So that is Kshatriya Vritti. So the idea is that these people can manifest all different, each person can be a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra at different times in different situations. They are inside us. And why they are inside us? Because of the gunas that we carry. That create the swabhava. Whichever is dominating gunas amongst them, that becomes some dominating mode of nature. But dominating swabhava is intelligence and pursuit of knowledge. Then you are a Brahmana largely by your entire makeup. Because largely you are interested in knowledge, arts, pursuing various kinds of fields of knowledge, then you are Brahmana by nature. If you are very interested in ruling, governing, leadership, and motivation, and trying to gather people, guide them, direct them, you are a Kshatriya by nature. Many people are there among students, they become leaders, or many teachers are there, they take leadership roles. So these leadership roles are generally coming from Kshatriya Buddhi. And then we have got Vaishyas who are business minded people. They always calculate what I'm going to get out of it, what I'm not going to get out of it, how much will I get out of it. That calculation goes on Vaishya Buddhi. They're generally materialistic in nature, but they also have a role in the society. We will come to that. And Shudras are generally lazy people. Unless told to do, they won't do anything. So those are Shudras by nature. But they will do things if they are threatened, or they have been kind of enticed, or they have been motivated by some kind of a reward. Then only they move. Otherwise they won't move from their place generally. So these are buddhis based on their gunas. Now we know all the gunas, so we should be able to understand this classification. Are you okay? So he says that all their actions are accordingly divided, pravibhaktani karmani, because they'll do different types of work according to their gunas. So even if you tell a very Shudra and put him in a science class, he will sleep through the class. That buddhi is like that. Put him on some hard work, give him some work to do, plow the field, very good. Many students I've seen. They come from villages, they're so good at hard work, give them work, they'll do. They're very good at sports ground, they're very good leaders, they take initiatives. Put them in a meditation class or in a regular class, you can't keep them awake for after 10 minutes. They're restless because their gunas are different. Whereas some people so pursuit of knowledge, they're so intelligent, all the time studying, wanting to learn new things, gain knowledge, and they don't sleep enough, too much, they don't eat too much. They are Brahmin by their gunas, svabhava. So what are the qualities of these four categories? This is important for you to know, because somebody, if he argues, somebody from another culture or a religion or philosophy starts arguing Hindu religion is so bad, there are categorizations, people are treated badly. You say these are all misunderstanding of the scriptures. Those have not understood scriptures, they have created the confusion for their selfish sake. Divide and rule type. But truth is, this is how the truth is, because we are born with gunas. Shamo damas tapas chaucham shanti rarjavam evacha jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahmakarma svabhavajam. Who are the brahmanas, or their swabhava? What is their swabhava? Shama, they have control over their mind. Dama, control over their senses. Tapaha, they are engaged in austerities. Shaucham, they are generally clean inside, outside. Shanti, they are peaceful. Arjava, straightforward, honest. Jnanam, their pursuit of knowledge, they pursue knowledge. Vijnanam, they practice the knowledge and understand the knowledge. Astikyam, they believe in the existence of God and Punarjanma, Karma, all these philosophies. And Brahma Karma Subhava. These are the actions the Brahmins perform, and this is their Swabhava. By nature, they are like that. I am not going to detail it out. You check for yourself, because we have to cover a lot of ground. But these are the people important, Jnana and Vijnana. Why Jnana and Vijnana? Jnana is knowledge, Vijnana is practice of that knowledge, wisdom. End of knowledge is wisdom. You must practice that. So these are not the people who listen in the class and then they don't go do their homework. These are people who go do homework and practical work to get the hold of the knowledge. So these are Brahmanas in nature. So you can decide and see between yourself. Though many people are born Brahmins, but they are not behaving like Brahmins, right? So they cannot be called Brahmin as per the Bhagavad Gita. Like Ravana, by nature is not Brahmin, born Brahmin, like that. Whereas Vyasa, who has written this, he is born to a fisherwoman, but he is a Brahmin by nature. Valmiki, born as a Shudra, hunter, but he is a Brahmin by nature because he improved himself. See, he is a great hope for all of us, Valmiki. You can be very cruel, born violent, but improved with satsanga and became one of the greatest rishis. Vishwamitra was born Kshatriya, but he eventually turned into a Brahmana. So we have plenty of examples where people have improved themselves and got classified differently from the classification at their birth. However, certain rituals, traditions have been so strong in our culture, for whatever sake, it has become a habit, a dead habit. People don't appreciate open-mindedness, so things are going on as they are. But we as people of these institutions, as people who follow Sanatana Dharma, should not discriminate like this. We only know we all have a little bit of Brahmana in us, little bit of Shudra in us, little bit of Kshatriya in us, little bit of Vaishya in us, and we manifest those qualities at different times. But predominantly one of them will be dominating quality in you, based on which you get classified. Then what are the qualities of the Kshatriya? Shauryam tejo dhritirdakshyam yuddhe cha api apalayanam danam ishvara bhavascha kshatram karma svabhavajam. Very nicely, clearly explains. Shauryam, very, very brave people. Come fight me, they'll go and fight if there is a need to fight. Tejaha, they have some kind of splendor. Kings and all we have seen, no? Very splendorous, huge personalities. They're born with that kind of a nature, physically, mentally, and even otherwise. So, dhritihi, they have great determination. That's why they conquer kingdoms and run kingdoms. Darksham, they are very capable. Dakshata, they're very capable. Whatever they take up, they learn it well. Then, yuddhecha api apalayanam. This is for Arjuna. They don't run away from the battlefield, these Kshatriyas. Because Arjuna was trying to run away. And that time Krishna scolds him. You people will laugh at you after you die. That you ran away. They'll call you coward. And it's worse to die in battle than to be known as a coward later. So this is how he uses this word to teach him. They don't run away from challenges. Yuddha means not the battlefield. Challenges in life. They don't run away from challenges. They are facing the challenges. Face the devil. Fight till the end. Finish the game. That is the way of Kshatriyas. Dhanam, they are very charitable. Give them, please them and they will do anything for you. They are those kind of very good friends. And Ishvara Bhavascha, and they feel they are the boss. They always feel in any room they are sitting, they will make sure everybody understands who is the boss. So, do you mean to say these people cannot be Brahmins? No, Brahmins also can manifest these qualities. Brahmins also can manifest these qualities of daya, whatever, dana, ishvara bhava, chaurya, tejo. That is okay. So sometimes, different people manifest this. Like for example, our organization is there. We have all these qualities. We fight till the end. We get our work done. It means how to categorize ourselves. Are we Brahmins? Yes, we are, because we also practice a lot of virtues, which Kshatriyas don't do. But we also have the determination, the willpower, the courage, and the bravery, and whatever of Kshatriyas. So people manifest all qualities at different points in time is all I am trying to say. Don't classify it yet in narrow ways, in silos. Then Krishi Goraksha Vanijyam Vaishya Karma Svabhavajam Paricharyatmakam Karma Shudrasyapi Sadbhavajam. Vaishyas are those who engage in Krishi. Krishi means work. Also Krishi means productivity. Anything given to them, they'll produce something out of it and make it commercial or of some value. Like give them bare earth, they will turn it into a harvest. Give them any resources, they'll make it more. Give them money, they'll grow it further. So they are Krishi, they manage Krishi. Then Goraksha. Goraksha means whatever you have produced, you must preserve it also. They always are careful about not wasting, but preserving. In those days, cows, cattle were considered as wealth. As many cattle, that rich you are, especially in the rishis and gurukulas and things like that. So Goraksha coming from that, don't take it to the Goraksha mission going on everywhere here now. This idea of Goraksha is preserving what you have earned rightfully. Then Vanijyam, tradesmen, they must circulate the money. Money should not get stuck in people's hand. The job of these like bankers, they must ensure the money moves. It is like blood, I always say. If it gets stuck in one place, it's like a blood clot, it will lead to damage. So you should keep moving. Whose job is that? Vaishya's job is there to keep the money moving. This is their swabhavajam. This is their very nature. So these are the people who produce wealth, protect wealth, and also circulate the wealth. So present day capitalists are there. They are slowly getting into CSR and things like that. What is this idea? They are also learning how to circulate the wealth, give it to everyone, not hold it for themselves. But there are those who are Vaishyas, but they are very greedy. They are driven by their Rajasic or Tamasic Vritti or Buddhi. So their reason for doing business is altogether different. And who are the Shudras? Paricharyatmakam karma. Those who serve others. Serve others, parichara means they are always following them. Whatever advice or whatever instructions are giving, they follow the instructions. Can they think on their own? No. Will they even try to think on their own? No. They're not capable. If you tell them something, they will do it. And they'll do it quite well. But on their own, they don't take initiatives. They don't put efforts. Somebody has to push them to doing things. This is the general nature of Shudras. So they are generally those who are serving everybody through their body or whatever, through their skills or through their efforts. And this is their nature. That on their own, they cannot think correctly. So somebody has to think for them and tell them what to do. So when you are like that, behaving like this, you know that time your Shudra nature has taken over. But in modern times, unfortunately, all these things have been distorted beyond recognition. Scriptures have been misinterpreted, misunderstood, misimplemented in the society. Because of which we have all this caste system, and that has become a biggest rot in our Hindu system, Sanatana Dharma. We are our own enemy. We are misusing the scriptures. Till date, there are people who are classified as Shudras. They are not allowed near the temples. They are not allowed to even drink water from the same well. And within them also, there are subclasses and they fight with each other too. So it is unending misery. That's why one thing I appreciate about other people who don't have these classifications, a lot of people move to Buddhism, because Buddha said there is nothing called this classification. We are all born equal. Jainism. These are the isms which took root in India in those days, in whatever 500 BC to 500 AC, because there was no such system. Because people had misused this system to push people into only one category or class and not allow them to change from one to another. The scriptures themselves have enough and more rules. So what happens? By nature they should be like that. I'll give you an example. For somebody who is not born with that attitude, if you push them to do certain other things, they will run away. They will run away. I've tried this. Like some people say, why Brahmins only are into some certain kind of studies? Why others should not be allowed? We allowed and saw. They could not survive there for more than 10 days. Because the nature didn't permit. Guna guneshu vartante. The gunas work like that. Similarly, you put a Brahmin or a very soft-hearted, knowledge-driven boy into a battlefield, he will run away from there. Because he cannot take that kind of blood and cruelty and things like that. So right kind of categorization and right kind of work if you give to the people in the society, societies will prosper. Nobody is bigger, less, nobody is smaller, great. Idea is they are driven by certain gunas, don't confuse and mix them up. Why it is important to know this? Krishna is coming. Svese karmanya bhirataha samsiddhi labate naraha swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tachrunu. Let me tell you about something. What is it? How can somebody who is engaged in his own duties, which are born out of his own gunas, and therefore classified into different categories, if such a person, swakarma nirataha, continues to do the actions that he or she is supposed to do, how they attain siddhi? They attain perfection. Siddhi means not merely perfection in the work. That way they will attain because their bent of mind is like that. So they will anyway become best in whatever they are doing. But also the ultimate siddhi of reaching God. So you mean to say, I'm a Shudra Buddhi man. Can I attain God? He says, yes. If you use your Shudra nature of serving or putting efforts to make people's lives better through your hard work, through that action, if you make it selfless, make it seva, you will also reach God. So there is nothing written that Brahmins only will reach God, Shudras cannot reach God. Nothing like that. Our scripture says everybody can reach God. Just do what you have got to do properly. And what is proper way of doing? That is what we have learned. Our buddhi should be correct, karma should be correct, karta should be correct, jnana should be correct. All this you do it right, you are going to attain siddhi. And how do you attain? Let me tell you, Krishna says, Yata pravritti bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmana tammabhyatcha siddhim vindati manava. All that which has been born out of that one. All the pravritti, all these gunas, all these are from, where is the origin? In him, in that supreme source. Also the one which sustains everything. Yena sarvam idam tatam, what permeates and pervades and sustains. To him, to that divine being, swakarmana tama abhyatcha. Whatever actions you do it as a worship to him. Worship to the divine. And siddhim vindati manavaha. A human can attain perfection, attain God. How? By just doing what you've got. If you have to sweep a floor, sweep that floor in such a way that it is an offering to Lord. If my Lord walks on this floor, not a particle of dust or a stain should stick to his feet. That thought itself will take you to God. We have enough examples, We have Sakubai making cow dung cakes. Not educated and learned. But in every cake, if you break in here, you will say Ranga, Ranga, Panduranga. Hanuman, every hair, whatever work he was given, he did. And in every hair of his body, Ram, Ram, Ram. So also we have a story from Vanaparva in Mahabharata, where one fellow goes and, Markandeya tells this to Dharmaraja, that one fellow meditates, gets up some power that he could destroy anybody with his anger. One crow, drops on his head, excretes, and he gets angry, looks at the crow with anger, the crow gets burnt. Next he goes to beg somewhere, and one lady is their household holder. He asks for alms. She says, you wait, I have to serve my husband and then I'll come and serve you. He gets angry. Do you know who I am? You know how powerful I am? How could you make me wait? You have no respect for me. She says, don't try to show me off. I am not a crow to get burned by your anger. So he gets shocked. How do you know that I just burnt a crow? She said, what is there to know? This is natural for her to know. Because she is just doing her job properly. So she has attained as much siddhi as much he attained by sitting under a tree and meditating for years. That's Markandeya tells this story to Dharmaraja about what is true siddhi, what is true tapa. Purity, doing your duty well is the tapas. Do it well, that's all I keep telling. Offer it to God. Tamabhyarcha. Do it for the sake of offering, worshipping that divine who is in all. And this is an important shloka. Shreyan sadharmo vigunaha paradharmat svanushthitat. It's better, Shreyan swadharmo. Even if vigunaha, even if you are not able to do your job properly, in the sense there is some fault, yet don't give up what you are born to do, what you are supposed to do. Even if you have not learned how to do it perfectly, yet you know deep within that this is what I am born to do, you will attain perfection slowly. Don't give it up. Then paradharmat svanushthitat. It's no point in going and establishing yourself in another man's duty, which you are not meant to do. Lot of mediocrity in the society is only because of this. I keep telling, Satya Sai University for Human Excellence should ensure every child's aptitude is matched with their learnings, skills, and what they can become in life. You can't create a bad engineer and lose a good farmer. This is how our society is running at this point in time. All are miserable. That engineer is miserable, the farmer is miserable, society is miserable. But many of us, for the sake of money, name, fame, whatever, impress our relatives, we get into all this. We have to avoid that. So this is the idea that if you do your duty, even if it's a little faulty, continue to doing that, you will attain perfection someday. Do it as an offering or a worship. Swabhava niyatam karma kurvan napnoti kilbisham. The one who does what one is supposed to do in this world as per one's gunas, does it well as a seva, as a worship to the Lord, such a person will not attain sin or any, even if things go wrong, that person will not incur the results of such a thing. That who will ensure? That the Lord will ensure. Why? Because you have done it as an offering to the God that you believe in. And therefore that God will look after the results and consequences you will not have. Many people, if they don't do what they have got through, they will be restless actually. Sometimes we think, I can also do because he does or she does. But you try to do it, you will figure it out after some time, there is no inner peace. You try to act that you are liking it, but you don't like it. Like food. I like something, you like something. Some people like sweet, some people like salty things. Give the opposite things to each other, both are miserable. Because that is not their nature, they don't like sweets. So give them sweet, he is miserable. So like that. Like Parshurama was there, he got angry, he was a Brahmin born, but he took up an axe and started killing all Kshatriyas because his father was killed by some king. And till he met Rama, and Rama told Parshurama, what is this you have done to yourself? You are born Brahmana, your nature is Brahmin. This cruelty is not natural to you. That's why you are restless. Go meditate, go do tapas, give up this pursuit of killing people. And Rama calms him down. Once he goes back to his nature of Brahman, Parshurama becomes calm and peaceful. Till then he was very difficult to handle. So this is how you must continue to do what you have got to do, which is according to your nature. What is my nature? Go and do some analysis for yourself. Simply don't take science or arts or music or something just because somebody else has taken. That may be good for them. It may not be good for you. So please analyze thoroughly how practical it is, because ultimately you will be miserable at the end. There was a study done in Harvard. I don't remember the name of the person who did, but it was done between 1960s and 80s or something like that. All the graduates, 1,500 of them were studied. And what was the study? People were asked, what is that you want to do in life? They said we want to, most of them said we want to make money. But few of them said that we want to follow what our passions are. Even then this debate was on. So after 20 years when they studied what happened to those people, they found 100 of them out of 1,500 people were millionaires. And 99 of them were those who have followed their passion, and only one amongst 100 was the one who had just gone to make money and didn't bother about his passion. These 199 were most peaceful, happy, successful, satisfied in life. So money followed them because they followed their passion. This is what I am trying to say. Do what you are born to do. And our institution is trying very hard to make sure that every child is matched with their aptitude, with their guna, with their swadharma, so that they are able to prosper and they can offer all these to God as their worship. Society will improve. There will be perfection in society, in action, and ultimately you will attain the highest perfection of becoming divine. What a wonderful opportunity. That's why I can never get tired emphasizing on the opportunity that has come your way. It's just wonderful. It is unmatched, unparalleled. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadoshamapi na tyajet sarvarambha hi doshena dhume nagni rivavrataha. He says, even if you have some fault in your work, don't give it up. Don't give it to me. If you're singing very badly, please, for a few days don't sing, practice and again start singing. Don't give up singing altogether. Don't keep singing also. Again, those vipritanshcha, sarvarthan vipritanshcha, ulta they will listen. Swami said, don't give up. So I am not going to give up my singing bhajan. Come what may, I am going to take the mic and sing. No, what he meant is, don't give up pursuit of perfection in singing. Go and practice and then come back. See, this is the idea of understanding it correctly. So he says, whatever sahajam, which is born with you, sahajam, born with you, or sahajam is natural to you. Whatever is that, even if there is a fault in it, don't give up, Krishna is saying. Because he is Kshatriya, no Arjuna. He is born Kshatriya. He has to fight the battle. But he is finding it difficult to fight the battle because he finds some faults in his fighting now. He thinks he is fighting against his own kith and kin, all kinds of things. So he is telling him, Sarvarambha doshena, all actions that are undertaken, they all are fraught with some fault. All actions have some fault in it, he says. Till when? Till you are the Sarvarambha. You have initiated the action out of the doership. There is a fault in it. And like every fire has smoke, likewise every action has some fault in it. Little fault. And the little fault is, doership itself is the fault. And now you know how many categories of faults can be there. So Krishna is saying every action has some fault in it. You don't give up your action just because you think you are not good enough, or you have some problems, you have some faults. Even then, do your duty only. Don't change over to something else. This digging wells. One place you dig, you don't get water, dig another. You keep digging like this, you never reach water. Don't keep changing things every time. Make steadiness in your mind is important. Understand your nature and follow that. Asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigatas praha naishkarmya siddhim parmam sanyas senadi gacchati. He says the person who has asakta buddhi, no attachment to anything. He is doing duty for duty's sake. Sarvatra, in all places, in all times, in all situations. Jitatma, who has control over oneself. Vigatas praha, all desires are done. Not doing out of any desire. Naishkarmya siddhim, he becomes naishkarmya. Non-doer. He becomes non-doer. Though he does, he becomes non-doer. No doership is there. Paramam, siddhi paramam. Ultimately, he attains the highest siddhi, which is realization. Sanyasena adhigacchati. He becomes the true sannyasi. Remember in the beginning we had asked, what is sannyasi and what is a tyagi? And then Krishna says, tyagi is the one who gives up karma phala, but doesn't give up karma. Yajna dana he should do even if there is fault in it. But who is a sannyasi? From the very beginning he doesn't have doership. So there's no question of sacrificing or giving up anything. He's given up everything from the day one. From the very beginning, very start. So these are the sannyasis who attain perfection. How? By doing what they have got to do without changing their duties, without jumping boats or jumping horses, and unattached, completely in control of their mind and senses, no desires, they become non-doers. They are the sannyasis. This is the definition now finally he is giving. And then he says, Siddhim praptot yatha brahma tathapnoti nibodame samasena kaunteya nishtha jnanasya yaparaha. Then what happens to this Siddhim prapto yatha? How do they attain this siddhi? And after attaining siddhi, the perfection in their action, how do they attain Brahman? Because once you become perfect in your action, established, no doership, no enjoyership, the next stage is you become Brahman. You become sannyasi when you have no doership, but the next stage of sannyasi is Brahman. Next is even if you say brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyasa. After sannyasa, what next? You have to become one with the divine. So how they become Brahman, let me tell you, samaseneva, in brief. Nishtha, jnanasya yapara. How do they attain that parama nishtha? Jnana nishtha means they're completely established in the true knowledge of themselves. Highest, para, ultimate knowledge. How do they abide in that ultimate wisdom after having attained perfection by doing their actions right? And what is the right action? No attachment, complete control over your mind and senses, no desire and no doership. These are the 4 things it says. So now you have to go and look into all the details. Where is the fault? Why you are not able to attain these 4 things? And if you attain these 4 things, you become sannyasi, and from sannyasi it becomes Brahman. Shanto Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. He becomes Brahman itself, who becomes like this. And all these qualities you can study. We have heard about it earlier also. So Shanto, he becomes peaceful. Tyagat Shanti Anantaram. Once you sacrifice, you get peace, they say. Sannyasi has sacrificed things from the day one. In fact, even Sri Ramakrishna was asked, what is the essence of Gita? He said, keep telling Gita and you will know the essence. So Gita, 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 Tyagi, 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 Tyagi is the essence of Gita. Ramakrishna says, the one who does Tyaga. And what Tyaga? Giving up the doership is the Tyaga. Once he does that, he attains Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. He says, Brahma Bhuya. He becomes Brahman. Kalpate means reaches and becomes. And this is a very beautiful shloka. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. The one who attains that Brahman never comes to sorrow, na shochati, na kankshati, never desires for anything. Everything is you. What is to desire? Everything is you. Sarvam Brahmamayam. He has understood that. Kim karaniyam, kim akaraniyam, kim vadaniyam, kim avadaniyam, kim vachaniyam. What is there to be done, what is not to be done? So he has realized that no desires are left, no sorrow, because everywhere he sees only himself. Samah sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. He becomes equal towards all beings. No partiality, no divided vision. Everything he sees as one. Shunishchaiva swapakecha pandita samadarshina, Krishna says. Equal vision. In Shuni, in the dog, swapake, dog eaters. In all people he sees the Brahmani, Gavi, Hastini, everything. So he attains the highest. Very important. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. Very important. That's the only way you can get rid of all sorrow. Remember Satvika Sukha, no sorrow after that. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanashchasmi tatvataha tato mam tatvato gyatva vishate tadanantaram. Once he, out of this great devotion, what kind of bhakti? Para bhakti. Ultimate devotion for me. For him, I am everything, means divine is everything. Such a person, mam abhijanati, he comes to know how, very beautifully he says, yavan yacha asmi, as I am, in my true nature, not as Krishna, not as Rama, not as all this, as the ultimate nirguna, nirakara Brahman. He comes to know of me completely. Tato mam tatvadogyatva, after knowing me completely, tatvataha, what happens to the person? Vishate tadanantaram, he enters me. Like a river that enters the ocean. Becomes ocean completely. There is not even a bit of river left in it. Every drop of river is now ocean. Like that, now river knows the entire ocean. How? By becoming the ocean. Likewise, this person knows me in entirety and correctly, without confusion. And how does he know me? Because he becomes me. So in our scripture is very clear. Knowing God is equal to becoming God. There is no other way of knowing God. The only way is becoming God. Brahma Veda Brahmaiva Bhavati. Beautiful shloka from Mandaka Upanishad comes. Yatha nadhya sandamana samudre astam nam gachanti namarupe vihaya tatha vidwan namarupad vimuktaha parat param purushamapaiti divyam. Like rivers lose their name and form and reach the ocean and become one with it, so also the knower of the truth loses all their attachments to names and forms and becomes one with the ultimate Purusha. Sarva karmanyapi sada kurvano maddat vyapapshrayah. Do all the activities therefore. How? By depending on me, by offering it to me, by being under my patronage. Everything is by him, for him, in him. That is the attitude. Brahmarpadam Brahmahavi Brahmangmatavar. Mat prasadat avapnoti shashvatam padamavya. When you do like that, what will you attain? This is for Shudras also, Brahmanas also, Kshatriyas also, Vaishyas also. Do your duty depending on me, offering everything to me without ego. What happens? Mat prasadat, out of my grace. Avapnoti shashvatam padamavyayam. You attain the highest pada, highest state, highest realization. So anybody can ask, I am a sweeper in your school. Can I attain God? I will say emphatically yes, provided you do your duty properly, perfection in action, and offer everything to the divine, till you reach a stage when you don't find a difference between you and divinity. You will reach that stage by just doing your activity with selflessness, without desires for results. This is the way Karma Yoga can teach you to Paramasiddhi. That's why Karma Yoga is so important. This is how Bhagavad Gita has been emphasizing. And it's an irreversible process. You can't again become human in your behavior. You may look like human, but your inside will change into divine. Outside will look like human. Don't expect divine. How do self-realized people look like? They grow 4 hands and 10 heads, nothing like that. They behave more around like normal people. But inside them, they are totally different. Totally unattached. So they are called Jivan Muktas. I always say become Jivan Muktas. What is the point in you dying and attaining Brahman, Videha Mukti? After your death, what benefit it is to the world? So therefore, while you are alive, live a life like this. And you can do it even if you have not read the scriptures, even if you have not gone pilgrimages, even if you don't know one verse of Bhagavad Gita, but you have understood the essence. Do your duty properly. And what is proper duty, you have already learned. Krishna will grace you, God will grace you. Chetaha sarvakarmani mai sanyasya matparaha buddhi yogam upashrutya matchitta satam bhava. So do what he advises. Chetasa sarvakarmani, all your being, chetana, with all your energy, all your prana, all your awareness and abilities, sarvakarmani mai sanyasya, give it to me, offer it to me. Matparaha, because you are totally devoted to me. I am the highest for you, there is nothing beyond me. Everything you do it for me. Then buddhi yoga upashrutya, and use buddhi yoga. What are the buddhis? You know buddhi. Sattvika buddhi you should use, so that indriya, everything is under control and you are able to offer everything to Krishna. Not a moment you think you are the doer. Matchittaha, fill your being with my consciousness. I am only doing everything through you. Don't have any doership. Satatam, always bhava. Become like that. He is advising Arjuna. Matchitta sarvadurgani matprasadat tarishyasi. With my grace, sarvadurgani, all obstacles you can cross. Tarishyasi, you will be able to cross. What are these obstacles? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, name it. All these are like one Nandi hill, this hill and that hill. You have to climb all the hills, several hills. You know, Bhagavad Gita Dhyana Shloka also says, Pangum langayate girim, yat kripatamaham vande paramananda madhavam. You know, even a lame person can climb a hill if your grace is there. Krishna says, my grace is there. Mat prasadat tarishyasi. Because of my grace, you will be able to cross over these mountains of difficulties and obstacles in your life. Atha chetva mahankaran shroshyasi vinakshasi. Vinakshasi means, but if out of your ego you ignore my teachings, ignore Bhagavad Gita's advice, if you don't listen, na shroshyasi, vinakshasi, you will get destroyed. You will bring ruin upon yourself by not following the advice of Bhagavad Gita. So if you continue doing action, you may be doing very well in life, you may be very popular, rich and this, at the end misery is yours, guaranteed. You will not attain Siddhi in this world or beyond. Forget attaining moksha, all this is not for you. You will destroy yourself, that's what Krishna is saying. What is destruction? Destruction of a beautiful opportunity. Durlabham trayame vaitat. Devanugrahetukam. With great luck we have got this, by God's grace that we have got Manushyatvam, Mumukshutvam, Mahapurusha Samshraya. These three are rare to come by. So you have got, don't waste this opportunity. Yadahankara mashritya nayotseti manyase mityaisha vivasayaste prakritistvam niyokshati. He is warning Arjuna. If you think, depending on your ego, by not listening to all the Bhagavad Gita I taught you, still if you have ego that I am the doer, and you tell me I am not going to fight this war, that understanding of yours about yourself, mityaisha, this is a false understanding. Vivasayaste, what understanding, what you are deciding to do will be false. And prakriti stvam niyokshasi, because your prakriti, your gunas will push you to fight the war. You wait and watch, he is telling Arjuna. If you decide not to fight the war because you have not heard my Bhagavad Gita properly, you have not understood, even then your understanding that you will not fight the war is a false understanding. Because your gunas of Kshatriya guna will push you to fight the war. You will not be able to stay calm. And then he says, Swabhava janena kaunteya nibaddha svena karmana. Swabhava jena, because of your Swabhava kaunteya nibaddha svena karmana. You are bound by your own duties. Because you are born Kshatriya, your Swabhava is to fight a battle. You will see that you are bound by your Swabhava. You can't do another thing. And kartum nechasi jan mohat jan mohat. Because of delusion, if you think, I am not going to fight this war, because he had the whole delusion in the beginning, and that all my uncle and this and that, all will be destroyed, I am not doing good. So if you do, kartum na ichhasi, I am not interested in fighting the war, if you think, yat mohat, because of the delusion, karishyasi avashaha, he says, helplessly you will do these things, you wait and watch. Even if you say, I am not going to do it because your gunas are like that, they'll push you to fight the war, and you will helplessly fight the war without any control over it. Avashopi, without any control over it, you will still fight the war, because he says, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe tishtati. Because Ishvara, the real Lord, the real boss, is sitting inside you, in your heart. Heart means not the physical heart. Hriddeshe, the space, the core of your being. That's where he resides, that divine power. And what does he do? Brahmyan sarvabhutani yantra rudhani maya. He moves everything. We think we are moving like puppets move because there is a puppeteer who makes us dance. This puppeteer has created all the gunas. The creator has created the gunas, Prakriti. And these gunas drive us to do what we're doing. So it looks like as if he's controlling everything from another plane. Where is that? Sometimes I see this JCB working. And how does it work? Yantra Rudhani Maya. As if it is a machine. And the controller of the machine is somebody else. Machine moves, it looks like all the machine is doing everything. But inside that there is a driver who is moving things. When I see this JCB, I watch them, I think of this shloka. The JCB operator will be sitting inside, the JCB will be moving up and down, picking big rocks, throwing it, digging, removing mud, collecting mud, putting in the tractors. I watch this, I think that is like Krishna sitting inside the JCB operating cabin, and all the JCB work is happening. From far away it looks so beautiful. How this JCB has intelligence as if it has a mind to pick up things, drop things, pull things. But actually it has no mind of its own. It's a yantra. And who is Arudha? Who is sitting on this yantra? That operator. And Maya, with Maya Shakti of the gunas, is making everything happen. And we think we are doing. That's why Krishna is saying, even if you think you don't believe in this guna business and you don't believe in all these things, still remember I am the one sitting inside as the Ishvara. You are not your boss. You are not the authority. I am the super boss. I know I am controlling everything. I may not appear to do so to you out of your illusion, but I am the one who controls everything, he says. Then tameva sharanam gaccha sarvabhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapyasi shashvatam. Therefore to him, to that tameva sharanam gaccha, surrender to him. What is this false ego that you are carrying? He is the one who controls everything, the divine. Surrender to that force, sarvabhavena, in all ways, in mind, body, in thought, word and deed, surrender. Sometimes we surrender in the body, but our minds are not surrender. We still hold on to our things. Once a person went to some Zen master and he was holding some flowers in his hand, it seems. So Zen master said, drop it. So he got scared and dropped the flower at his feet. Again the Zen master said, drop it. He did not know what he's asking to drop because there's nothing in his hand. So he thought, what I have not dropped? Then he thought, I have so many attachments, so many possessions. In my mind, I must offer it to this master. So he says, all my wealth, all my this and that, everything I offer it to you in my mind. So he dropped this. Again he says, drop it. Now he says, what else is left? What was in my physical hands, I've given it. Whatever is in my name or whatever possessions and attachments I have, that also I've dropped. Now what else he is asking me to drop? Then you realize the idea that I am offering also has to be dropped. That aham bhava also has to be dropped. That is what is sharanam gaccha. Get rid of that doership, that I feeling also, I am offering, that also should go away. Who is offering to whom? Everything belongs to him in the first place. So that concept itself changes for a person who truly understands the truth that divine operates through all of us. But our gunas come in the way. If you are completely surrendered and pure, it will just flow. That is instrumentation, nimitta matram. So this is the Sharanam Gaccha. Atma Nivedanam is the highest virtue in bhakti. Tat prasadat param shanti, and that will bless you. That tat prasadat, tat, remember, om tat sat, tat, that will bless you. With what? Parashanti, you will be peaceful. Because you are not the doer, so where is the enjoyership? You will be at peace. Sthanam, that ultimate place, Shanti Sthanam, ultimate peace you will achieve. Prapyasi Shashvatam, you will attain that for permanent, once for all. Permanently you will attain it if you surrender yourself to that divine force. Always you will be in the state of peace. Deha abhimanam galite vijñate paramatmani yatra yatra manoyati tatra tatra samadhayaha, it is said. When your body consciousness is gone, you surrender to the divine consciousness, you know the Paramatma. Wherever you go, you are in the state of samadhi only. You may be working, talking, walking, moving, saying, speaking, listening, but you are always in the state of samadhi. You are never for a moment deviating from that Shanti Sthanam, that Jnana Nishtha, that Naishkarmya, that this is the place you attain, you will never come down from there. Then, iti te jnanam akyatam guhyat guhyataram maya vimrishya tad asheshena yatechasi tatakuru. What a wonderful teacher Krishna is. He says, iti te jnanam akyatam. I have told you about this knowledge, the entire knowledge of guhyat guhyataram, secret of the secrets. Super secret this is. And I have told you throughout the Bhagavad Gita, it has been told by me to you. Now, vimrishayeta. Contemplate on it, he is telling to Arjuna. See, listening is not enough. Do not know how much you have understood. Once you go back to the room and then start revising, then you realize, oh, I didn't understand this word, I didn't understand that thought. So go and contemplate now. He is advising Arjuna that you must now vimrishya etat. Think about it, contemplate on it, asheshena, completely. Without thinking, okay, this I didn't understand, no problem, later we will see. No, everything you should try and understand, whatever I have said. Then what you should do, yatechasi takuru. And after that, you decide what you want to do. Whatever you think is right, after having contemplated, not just heard, contemplated on whatever I have told, now whatever you think is right, you do, I am okay with it. He is not forcing. You do what I tell you. Better do what I tell you. He has told everything from the beginning till the end. Now you decide what you want to do. What a wonderful teacher. He is making the student empowered to take decisions. He is not spoon feeding him. He has taught him everything and giving him the opportunity to discriminate and decide. So that I always say, a guru should create another guru. Guru Shishya Parampara, they say. I said, no, it's a Guru Parampara, I call it. Guru Shishya means Shishya will always be dependent on the Guru. But here is a Guru who is creating another Guru out of Arjuna. He has taught him the wisdom, enabling, empowering him to take the right decisions. But the only advice he has that please contemplate and completely understand. Don't misunderstand, don't wrongly understand ayathavat or viparitansha. As it is, understand what I have told you, but that requires some contemplation. This is an advice for all of us as also over here. So Buddha says, be a light unto yourself. You don't have to have an external light. If you only are the light, where is the need for you to borrow light from anybody else? So become like that, become an enlightened being. Sarva guhya tamam bhuya shrunu me paramam vachaha ishtosi te me drunamiti tato vakshyami te hitam. What a sweet shloka. It says, Sarva guhya tamam, the highest of all the secrets. This again I am telling you. He is summarizing. The last few shlokas are coming. This is the essence of Bhagavad Gita now. So Sarva guhya tamam, the highest of the secret. Bhuya, again, shrunu me, listen to me. Paramam vacha, my supreme words. Ishtosi, dear to me. You are very dear to me. How dear? Dridhamiti, very, very dear to me. I consider you very dear to me, O Arjuna. Therefore, I shall repeat it. Tato vakshyami te hitam. So he has given the choice to Arjuna, you follow, but he has a doubt whether Arjuna has totally understood. Let me summarize it once more for him. So that Arjuna's total doubts are dispelled. Look at the love he has for Arjuna. He doesn't want to leave anything to chance. Just in case if Arjuna misunderstands and decides wrongly, let me once more summarize the whole thing. Let me not leave it to any chance. So he says, you are very, very dear to me. I want you to make the right decision, not out of force, out of your own happiness. Sarvam paravasham dukkham, sarvam atmavasham sukham, Manusmriti says. Anything you do out of your own will, volition, you are happy doing that. Anything which has been forced upon you, you are always sad about it. So Krishna doesn't want to force Arjuna. Yet he is worried whether Arjuna has understood everything right. So he says, you are so dear to me for your welfare. Let me tell you everything in a short summary way. This is the essence of the essence of the essence of Bhagavad Gita. This one shloka. Manmana bhakto madhyaji maam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijani priyosi me. He says, manmana bhava. Become manmana. Your mind should be invested in me completely. I alone should occupy your mind. Mad bhakta, become my devotee. Means whatever you do, yajjo shikaro shijnasi, everything you do for my sake, that is bhakti. Worship means to do, to follow, to offer. Madhyaji is to offer. Mad bhakta means to follow whatever I say. Then madhyaji, do everything for my sake, offer everything to me. And that is the way you worship me. You cannot worship a guru by not following what he says. You give him full malas and all the offerings and then you do whatever you want, not follow guru's words. That's not worship. You are disrespecting guru. So yaji, maam namaskuru, and offer your salutations to me in the physical sense. Namah kuru means get rid of your doership and ego. Namaha, namaskara, when we say no ego. Get rid of your identity to the body of Arjuna and doership. And maam, become me. नमः कुरु, ओनली when प्रेम गली बड़ी साकरी, जहाँ मैं दो न समाए, जब मैं था हरि नाही, अब हरि है मैं नाही, says Kabir Das. This lane of love is very narrow. Only one can pass at a time. When I was there, God wasn't there. Now God is there, I am not there. Between the two, only one can survive in this. Where there is Sai, there cannot be I. Where there is I, there cannot be Sai. So this is what he's saying. Maam namaskuru. Become free from your ego. Completely become surrendered to me. So, what is manmana? Manmana means your mind is completely absorbed. That is Jnana Yoga. What is Madbhakta, Madbhakti, Bhakti Yoga? Madhyaji, Karma Yoga, do everything for my sake. Namaskuru, Sharanam, Dhyana Yoga. You become one with that divinity. So he has summarized the entire Bhagavad Gita in 4 words. Madmana, Madbhakto, Madhyaji, Maham Namaskuru. What are these? Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga and Dhyana Yoga. These are the 4 yogas Krishna teaches us in Bhagavad Gita and says, what happens when you do that? Mamai Vaishyasi, Satyam Te. This is the truth that you will reach me. You will become me. And Pratijane, this I declare, I promise. See, this is again another promise of Krishna, like many promises. Pratijane, I promise you, I declare that this is the truth. You will achieve me, you will attain me. Priyosime, my dearest one. He addresses Arjuna in various names. Bharatrashabha, Kaunteya, Mahabaho, Parantapa. Here he addresses him Priyosi, O Priyaha, O dear, very dear to me. This is what you do and you become me. He wants to make sure Arjuna takes the right decision. And then even if you have a doubt, what if I take this decision, if I am not able to attain the highest state of, that dhyana, sharanam, and suppose there are faults in my doing, what if I do that? What will be the consequences? If Arjuna, even if he gets a doubt, even before that Krishna predicts and says, Sarva dharman parityajya, mamekam sharanam vraja, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami mashucha. Before even you doubt that whether you will do things right or wrong despite listening to Bhagavad Gita, give up all this idea of doership. Sarva dharman parityajya means don't give up your actions. The idea of doership you give up. Our dharma, swadharma. Swadharma only becomes our karma. That is what Krishna has said. Our dharma means guna. Guna only becomes our karma. So all dharma is born out of that gunas that we carry. Forget about gunas, forget about your dharma, forget about everything. Just surrender to me, Krishna is saying at the end. Maham ekam sharanam vraja. To me alone, just surrender. Forget all this doership, enjoyership, calculations. Who is sinner, who is saint, what will I get out of it, who will get out of what. Just forget all these things. Surrender to me all your doership, with your entire being. And what will I do? Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. Even if there is a sin coming out of this action, even if you think so, I will handle it. Sin means he'll also handle the punyam. Aham tvam sarva punyebhyo mokshayishyami. The punya is there, then you will go to some Swarga Loka and Shine punye martya loka vishanti. You will come back again once your punya gets over. So he is saying, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo means I am tvam sarva punyebhyo also. Mokshayishyami. I will free you from all the results of everything that you are doing and you will gain out of it. Because just give up your doership. Just become an instrument. Nimitta matram. That's all you do. That is what final word of Krishna is. How beautiful, such a powerful shloka. That mokshayishyami, he declares, I will save you. I will give you the highest. I will free you from all bondage. Don't worry. Just go ahead and do your duty as it is supposed to be. Remember in the beginning he told him when Arjuna was sad, Gatasun agatasunscha nanushocanti pandita. A wise one does not cry over or grieve over that which should not be grieved over. Why? Because what is here now and what is going to go away, both are temporary. Gatasun agatasuncha. What is already gone and what is going to go. Don't cry about it. Don't lament. And now he completes it by saying Mashucha. Nanushochati pandataha Mashucha. Don't cry over it. Don't grieve. Don't worry. I will handle it. Krishna is saying. How wonderful. Idam te na tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na chashru shrushave vachyam na cha mam yobhya suyati. This knowledge he tells Arjuna, through Arjuna to all of us, don't tell about these truths to na atapaskaya, those who have not done any penance and austerities, those who are worldly and greedy. Don't tell this knowledge to them. Why? They will not understand anything. Na abhaktaya, those don't have bhakti for me, love for me, don't tell them. Then kadachana, never. And na cha shrushruve, shrushave means those who have no interest in listening to spiritual truths. If any one of you have no interest and you have been sitting here out of compulsion or force, this is not for you. That's what Krishna is saying. And Vachyam nacha mam yo abhyasuyati, on those who find faults with my teachings. How can this be right? How can that be right? Krishna himself is done this and now he is advising us do this. No, those who find faults with me, please don't teach this to them, he tells to Arjuna. And through that to all of us. Those who have no purity of austerities, those who have no bhakti, love for God, those who are not interested in listening to spiritual things, and those who find faults with me, don't tell them about Bhagavad Gita. He tells to this because we have different adhikaris are there, Adama Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari, kind of students, best, ordinary, low. I have Adamadama Adhikari, I have a fourth category also. So this is how it is. Because whenever you do dana, jnana is also dana. And dana principle is desha, kala, patra we have to see. So patra, deservedness of that person we have to see. Don't simply teach Bhagavad Gita to anybody just because you have learned now, so I have become Pandita, Swayam Dhira Panditam Manyamana, and go and distribute Bhagavad Gita. Not going to work. Then, very beautiful shloka comes from Shvetashvatra Upanishad. It says, Vedante paramam guhyam purakale prachoditam na ashantaya datavya na aputraya ashishyaya vapunha. Don't give this secret knowledge to whom? To ashantaya, whose mind is not at peace. Means they are not interested in spirituality. If they sit here, they are restless. When this will get over, when we will go home. That kind of people don't teach. Then aputraya, who is not your son. So your son means you don't know that person thoroughly. So aputra. Then ashishyaya, who is not your disciple. Disciple means he has surrendered himself unto you. Now he is your pupil, he is your responsibility. Somebody who surrendered like this to you, he can be taught. All others should not be taught Bhagavad Gita, is what Bhagavad Gita says. Then why am I teaching everybody, you will think. Because there might be people in the room who are like this, but let me tell you, in our ashram, most of the people are very nice, sattvic people. They're interested in spirituality. Some small kids may not understand, but I have seen a lot of small kids sitting there with Bhagavad Gita books, trying to figure out where I am. So that interest itself is good enough, and Krishna will tell you that. That itself also is good enough. Then, ya idam paramam guhyam madbhakteshu abhidhasyati, the one who teaches this to bhaktas, my bhaktas. He told me, don't teach to those who are not my bhaktas, but those who are my bhaktas, like all of you. If anybody teaches them, what happens? Bhaktim mai param krutva mamai veshyatyan ati iti asamshayaha. Such a person who teaches this to my devotees, my bhaktas who are craving for this knowledge, such a person is doing bhakti to me. He is adoring me, he is worshipping me, he is glorifying me, and therefore such a person will reach me. Who teaches Bhagavad Gita to the deserving, right kind of devotees. So that person who teaches also will reach me, he says. That's why he said those who have already realized what is their role in the society, they have to help others realize. That is their role. And in that process, they glorify the divine. They glorify that very supreme Brahman. Like a boatman, if he rows the boat, he not only reaches the other shore, along with him he takes all the passengers. But he comes back again out of compassion to take more passengers. So his job is not to reach the other side. He has already reached the other side. Then why does he come back to do this? To teach this knowledge to those who are devotees of the Lord, to those who are astics, those who are interested in spirituality, those who are sadhakas. For their sake, these people come down on earth like Shanta Mahanto, Nivasanti Santo, Vasantavat Loka Hitam Charanta, Swayam Tirna, Bhima Bhavarnavam, Janana Hetu, Na Anyana Pitarayantaha, Viveka Chudamani says. These people move around in the society like Vasanta Ritu. They bring cheer, joy, beauty to the whole world, wherever they go. And they have crossed over. But they, for the sake of others and not for any other reason, they come back and take them also across. That is the job of good people. Such people, even if they have not reached, they'll reach me sooner or later. Krishna says, undoubtedly, they will achieve the highest because they are teaching this to devotees. So that is the job that you can also do if you find devotees, not otherwise. Nacha tasman manusheshu kaschin me priyakruttamaha. Nobody is dearer to me than a person who does this seva, of telling about this truth to deserving people. And he says, Bhavita nacha me tasmat anya priyataro bhuvi. And nobody can become dearer than these people to me. So who are the dearest of Krishna? Who take this knowledge of Krishna, practice it first, and then open their mouth and tell it to deserving people. Without practicing, don't open your mouth. And don't try to catch people and try to glorify yourself that you know these many shlokas. No, it is about glorifying Krishna and the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And the one who does that, Krishna says, they are the dearest to me and nobody can be dearer than them. So in a way he's telling Krishna, Arjuna, if you want to hold on to your dearest status, do what I am saying right now, practice it. Otherwise somebody can become dearer to me. Then he goes on to say, that's for joke, don't take it seriously. Adhyeshyate cha ya imam dharmyam samvadam avayoho jnana yagyena tenaham ishtah syamiti me matihi. The one who has understood and studied adhyayana. Dhyana, adhyayana means completely absorbed oneself in the study of this. Don't just listen, don't just contemplate, but study. Study means practice it. The one who has detailed, practice it with conviction and studied it well. Imam dharmyam. What is this Gita? It is dharma. Dharma means that which should be done. Dharma it is. I am Dharma Gopta, he says at some point. Arjuna says, you are Dharma Gopta. You are the protector of Dharma. You are not just Dharma Data, you are the protector of Dharma. How he protects Dharma? By inspiring people to follow Dharma. See, he is not raising one weapon, he is not going to fight the war, yet he is going to ensure that Dharma is established. He says, no, yada yada hi dharmasya. Glanir bhavati. I come to establish Dharma. This is the dharmyam. Do your duty with the right attitude and attain the highest perfection. This is your Dharma. This is what he is saying. And those who have heard this Dharma, in this dialogue, samvada avayoha, between the two of us, jnana yagyena, they have done jnana yajna. All kinds of yajna we can do. This is a jnana yajna, because when jnana is like fire, anything put in the fire gets burnt, destroyed. So this jnana, Gita jnana, is a yajna we have performed. A sacrifice we have performed. For last 1 year, whatever we are doing is a yajna. So he who does this, studies this, is doing jnana yajna for whose sake? For my sake. Ahamishtaha, for my sake, for my pleasure, to worship me. He does that. Syamiti temati. That is my understanding, my conviction, Krishna is saying. So he declares that those who studies the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, this sacred conversation between the two of us, he actually worships me. How? By doing this jnana yajna. You can do many yajnas to worship Krishna. Best way to worship Krishna is do jnana yajna of Bhagavad Gita, which is adhyayana, study Bhagavad Gita properly. Then Shraddhavan anasuyascha shrunayadapi yo naraha. This is for all of us. Shraddhavan, with great Shraddha. Anasuya, who doesn't find faults with Krishna or his ways. And shrunayatapi, even if he hears it, he has not studied it, he has not taught it, not practiced it, but heard it, but with Shraddha. Such a person, yo naraha, sopi mukta shubhan lokan. He also attains mukti and reaches Shubha Lokas, means higher worlds, good situations in life he will face. And Punya Karman, the Karmanam, he will attain Apnuyanti Punya Karmanam. All the good deeds he will attain. He will attain the Punya, merit of listening to Bhagavad Gita also. So those who have just heard it, haven't understood completely, haven't studied it, haven't contemplated yet, and forget about practicing. Even then, if they have heard it with some Shraddha, you have got some Punya, you have some future, you have some hope. Krishna is declaring that. Like Kayadu heard it, no? And Prahalada was born with great bhakti. Prahalada did not practice Narada's teachings. Neither Kayadu practiced. But she heard, through her, Prahalada heard, and he became a great devotee. So even if you hear it, now comes the final part. He said, Kaschit etat shrutam partha tvayai chetasa. Have you heard what I have said with great concentration? Is asking Arjuna. O Partha, have you heard correctly whatever I have said? How you have said? Ekagrena, with concentration, have you heard? He's asking Arjuna, feedback from the teacher. Did you listen to me? Did you understand? Then, Kaschit jnana sammoha pranashtaste dhananjaya. Has your sammoha, that illusion of jnana, that this is right, that is right, wrong, whatever you had wrong notions, has that been destroyed to some extent? Krishna is asking Arjuna. How sweet, isn't it? You heard Bhagavad Gita. Have you heard it with all your concentration? Has your moha, or that delusion that you had, wrong understanding, has it been destroyed? Kashti, to some extent at least. He's not even saying that whether he fully, he's checking with Arjuna. Because Arjuna is listening to it with great focus and attention. He's forgotten about everything. He's just totally absorbed in this. So whether you have understood and whether your moha, your delusion has been destroyed, that is what he's asking. Because in the beginning, if you see, Arjuna says, Karpanya doshu aparuts bhava, my cowardice has taken over my true nature of being a Kshatriya. I feel weak, I feel scared. But that is not Kshatriya's nature, it has kind of taken over. Prichhami tvam dharma sammuda cheta, I am dharma sammuda, I don't know what is right, what is wrong. And so prichhami tvam, I am asking you, O Krishna, Yatreyam, what is good? Syat nishchitam bruhi tanme, please tell me for sure what is right, what is wrong, because I can't think for myself. And shishyasteham shadi mam tvam prapannam, I am becoming your disciple, I surrender to you, I am your disciple now, please instruct me what is right, what is good shreya, not Preya. Preya, you want to run away from the battlefield. What is Shreya? Teach me, he tells in the beginning, in the second chapter when he surrenders to Krishna, and now Krishna has taught him Bhagavad Gita, so sweetly asks him, have you understood? Have you heard it correctly? Have you assimilated? And has your moha, that which you had in the beginning, destroyed now? After all this Purushottama Yoga, after all the Vishwarupa Darshana, after all the discourse in various Karma Bhakti Jnana, Dhyana, has all this been done? And Arjuna replies, what a wonderful reply. Nashto moha. Krishna is delighted. Arjuna says, Nashto moha smritir labdha tat prasad mayachyuta. Oh Achyuta, because of you, because of your grace, he didn't say, I heard, yes, I heard correctly and I have understood, so now I am fine. Because of your grace alone, my moha has been destroyed. No effort of mine in this. I have been listening only. You have taught it so nicely to me, clarified all my doubts without leaving anything. You have made it so clear to me. That is your grace, your extra effort, your kindness and compassion as a teacher to me. Because of that grace, Nashto Moha, Smritir Labdha, I have, my Moha, delusion has been destroyed, and I have regained my memory that I am a Kshatriya and this is my Dharma, and I have to fight for the sake of Dharma, not for my sake, or Pandava's sake, or Draupadi's sake. I have to fight for Dharma. I have understood that Kshatriya, this is my nature, this is my Dharma. Sitosmi, now I am steady. Now my mind is not fluctuating, I am not confused, I am not wavering. Sthitosmi gata sandeha, because all my doubts have vanished. And karishye vachanam tava, so I shall do whatever you say. He surrenders to Krishna. To just listen to these three words, karishye vachanam tava, how much pain Krishna has taken. This is what God wants from us. To get you to that state of surrender and obedience, how much Krishna had to do. What a long Bhagavad Gita. But he is happy. Krishna is happy. Why? Arjuna says, Nashto moha, not because of my effort, but because of your grace. I have put no effort. That's why it is Upanishad, Himsa, Gati, Avasadhana. All three should happen. Himsa, destruction should happen. Of what? Moha. Has it happened? I asked you this question long back. Yes, Arjuna says it has happened. Nashto moha. Earlier is Gatavo moha, he said. Now is Nashto moha. I have understood what is right. And now the delight of Sanjaya, who has the special boon of listening to Bhagavad Gita by a special power given by Vyasa Muni. Vyasa actually goes to Dhritarashtra and tells him, oh, you are a blind fellow, you want to see the war, I will restore your vision only for the duration of the war. But Dhritarashtra is so tamasi, he says, no, I don't want to see. I am ready, I am okay to hear, because I have never seen anything in my life, now how will I see a war? So you give this power to Sanjaya. So he gives to Sanjaya to see the war from distance. His mind he is seeing. And goes on narrating this to Dhritarashtra. But seems like Dhritarashtra must have slept by now, because he has no Shraddha. Because not even one mention of Dhritarashtra being awake or asking any questions. It's only Sanjaya, finally he is delighted. And he says, Ityaham Vasudevasya Parthasya cha Mahatmanaha Samvadamimam Ashrausham Adbhutam Romaharshanam. He says, Ityaham, this one, Vasudeva, the one who resides in everybody, that Lord, and Parthasya, the son of Prithak, Arjuna, who is a Mahatmana, who is a great being, because now only he realizes how great Arjuna is. Because the kind of questions he has asked, the kind of delusion that he has overcome. So he is praising Arjuna and says, Samvadamimam Ashrausham. I have heard this dialogue between the two. What kind of dialogue? Adbhutam. Wonderful dialogue. And Romaharshanam, I am getting goosebumps. My hair is standing on edge by the very thought that I have heard it. From whom? From the Lord, he says. And how did I heard? Vyasa prasadat shrutavan etat guhyamaham param. The highest of the knowledge I have heard by the grace of Vyasa. Why? Because Vyasa gave me this special boon to see the entire episode. Yogam, this is a yoga. The entire, all chapters end with yoga, or begin with yoga. This yoga that I have heard, from whom? Yogeshwara, the Lord of the yoga, the ultimate source of yoga. Krishna, who? Lord Krishna. Sakshat kathayata swayam, when the Lord himself, the Lord of the yoga, is talking about all the yoga. I have heard it directly from him by the grace of Vyasa Muni. In Bhagavad Gita, Dhyana Shloka, Ya Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmadvani Sritaha. That which has come from the very mouth or lips of the Padmanabha, the Lord himself. Why you need to read anything else when you can hear it directly from God? And Vyasa Stuti also, Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe. Vyasa is of great intelligence, Vishala Buddhi. Pulla Ravinda Yata Patra Netra, his eyes are like that of lotus leaves, lotus petals. Vyasa is very beautiful. Though he was dark in complexion, but he was very good looking. Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha. Who has done what for us? With the oil of Mahabharata, the story of Mahabharata. Prajwalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha, who has lit the lamp of wisdom. By using the oil of Mahabharata, he has lit the lamp of wisdom, the Vishala Buddha. Vyasa, so there is a Dhyana Shloka in Bhagavad Gita praising Vyasa also in the beginning. Then towards the end, Tacha Samsmritya Rupam Atyabhutam Harehe. That Hari is form I have seen, beautiful form, wonderful form. And by recollecting it, remembering it again and again, what is happening to me? Vismayo me. I am wonderstruck. I am so delighted by this vision, which is so wonderful. Mahan Rajan Hrishyami cha punapana. He tells the Dhritarashtra now here, oh Raja, I saw this form, I heard this dialogue, I'm so happy and so thrilled. Again and again, if I remember it, I'm getting that thrill, that I'm getting wonderstruck by what a boon that has come my way. And then finally, it is he who declares, Sanjaya only declares, not Vyasa, not Krishna, not Arjuna. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanudharaha. He tells whom? Dhritarashtra. Oh Dhritarashtra, you have got into this foolish battle, and now you will see the destruction of everybody, because dharma has to be established. He says, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. I have understood who Krishna is. And where this Yogeshwara Krishna is there, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhanaha, where this Arjuna is there, the bow-wielding Arjuna, means ready to do his duty, not running away from battlefield, but to engage in his duty and dharma. Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutihi, Dhruvaniti Matirmama. He says, Tatra, there, Shri, prosperity will happen. Whose prosperity? Not just Pandava's prosperity, the whole world's prosperity. Educational institutions will come up, hospitals will come up, food will be given, relief will be given to poor, succor will be given to all, weak will be protected. This is the prosperity that happens when Yogeshwara Krishna and Dhanurdhara Arjuna join together. Means a dutiful devotee and the merciful Lord, they come together, prosperity happens. Satya Sai Grama is the living example of this. Vijaya, success happens. I'm not saying challenges don't happen. Challenges happen. But despite challenges, because of the grace, success happens. And bhutihi, vibhutihi means virtues, good things happen there. Virtuous things happen. And dhruvaniti matirmama. Two ways it has been interpreted. Dhruvaniti means there is justice, there is fairness. Dhruvaniti, steady justice or fairness, that kind of policies are there. Or this is the highest policy, this is the highest niti according to me. What? That wherever Krishna and Arjuna come together, not ordinary Krishna and Arjuna, Yogeshwara Krishna is ready to give you the wisdom, and Dhanurdhara Arjuna ready to follow the instructions. Karishya Vachanam Tava. They come together, Sri Vijaya Vibhuti happens there. This is my steady understanding. This is the rule. This is the unchangeable law, irrefutable law, that this will happen there. This is a declaration at the end of Bhagavad Gita, which is so very encouraging. I have taken a lot of time to explain, but I am very glad that we had decided that Bhagavad Gita should end before Gita Jayanti. It was a sankalpa that was made during last Bhagavad Gita Jayanti. And it has taken a whole year to study it, and tomorrow is Bhagavad Gita Jayanti. When Krishna and Arjuna in that battlefield of Kurukshetra 5000 years ago had spoken this to each other, and Sanjaya had heard it, and till after 5000 years also it is so fresh and so practical and so valid. This is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita, the most practical spiritual scripture in the entire world for all times to come. Nobody can replace the Bhagavad Gita in terms of the comprehension, understanding, the clarity, the instruction, the practicality. Nobody can replace. So this is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. We have to only be grateful to Veda Vyasa, to Lord Krishna of course, but Veda Vyasa, and to this wonderful disciple Arjuna, who have brought this Bhagavad Gita to us. And it is still a guiding light for thousands and thousands of people across centuries from India and abroad. They have given a lot of people. We will hear some of these things tomorrow as there will be talks about Bhagavad Gita. But let us close it with this, that we have been blessed to continue and study and complete this despite lot of challenges, personal as well as situational challenges. Despite that, we have managed to complete it on time. And thanks to everybody, lot of students, staff, devotees have worked hard to present you the slides and details every day. Taken great pain, audio-visual team who have been relaying this, recording this. Of course, to all the devotees who have been attending and learning from this, the children who have had the patience to wait for their dinner and stay hungry for the sake of Dugdhamritam, the milk of Bhagavad Gita, they have stayed hungry. They are the Sudhir Bhoktas, they are the best of the calves who are going to enjoy the milk of Bhagavad Gita. And so we close, we will chant the last Sankalpa mantra, with that we close. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishnarjuna Samvade Moksha Sannyasa Yogo Nama Ashta Dashodhyayaha. Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi.